Causes of procrastination, 10 influential factors. What is procrastination? Before we move on the questions of what are the causes of procrastination, let's first know what is procrastination. Procrastination is the interruption or postponement of a task or series of tasks in an act of delay. So, it's the power that prevents you from doing what you want to do, be it procrastination or acrasia or anything else. Procrastination is basically an act of tossing into tomorrow the suffering that must be faced now in order to avoid stress. In the English word procrastination, it is said that pro means forward in Latin, and crastin means tomorrow. In other words, it means today work to tomorrow. Now, we could already get what the word procrastination implies to, both figuratively and literally. However, something that you wouldn't know is that procrastination isn't natural. It does not normally happen every so often. It is actually a vital sign of our mental health status, which brings us to the causes of procrastination. What are the causes of procrastination? We are the geniuses of procrastination. Anyone will have at least one experience of procrastinating for a variety of reasons, such as that if they just made up their minds and facing the end, stained with pain and regret. I must confess I recorded this audiobook on procrastination while procrastinating. Why do we keep procrastinating, knowing that we will suffer more obviously? How can I avoid procrastinating? First of all, as you might expect, we tend to put off work when something has its own negative qualities. It's boring. It doesn't seem to be important at all. It's too hard and difficult. If we were to summarize it, you simply don't want to do it. However, is it really all that? Piers Steele, a psychologist at the University of Calgary, took a closer look at why we are procrastinating. Reasons of procrastination. 1. Negative emotion. Since procrastination is an act of escape from suffering in front of our eyes, the phenomenon of procrastinating a lot, more than usual, occurs when we are already in a very distressed state. More specifically, when we are overwhelmed by negative emotions. Hence, some scholars see procrastination as an emotional control strategy to make you feel better, or at least not make it harder. It is interpreted that procrastination is like a side effect of the process of struggling to protect me. In the same way, like maladaptive stress coping measures like escape. So don't blame yourself for procrastination. On the other hand, this means that the habit of procrastination and the causes of procrastination may be less manifested when the usual life is happy and the heart is not bothered. There's actually a reason for this cause. In this regard, there is a personality trait called neuroticism. People with a high degree of this tendency tend to be relatively anxious and easily stressed. In this way, the more vulnerable you are to stress, the more moments you want to run away from it. Therefore, you procrastinate more. However, the problem is that they postpone work in order to avoid negative emotions. Alternatively, the act of procrastination itself becomes a source of greater negative emotions in the future. When I feel upset and stressed, I put it off. I feel more upset and more stressed. As a result of putting off work again, a vicious cycle often occurs, leading to much greater stress. On the other hand, procrastination tends to be more enjoyable. That is, the more often you overestimate the size of the positive emotion it will bring. Research has shown that it is more effective for a diligent life to think that the pleasure of procrastination will not be great, rather than expecting that procrastination will be painful, thus making it one of the causes of procrastination. 2. Fear of failure, perfectionism, Fear of evaluation. There is a lot of pressure to do a good job. People who care a lot about my image or what others think of me have a greater burden of doing anything compared to those who do not. That's why I feel stressed just thinking about working. As a result, I tend to avoid work with all my stress before I even start working. If you get bigger, you'll be able to get to work sooner, but you'll need a lot of courage to start working. 3. Suspicion of yourself. Who doubt their abilities tend to give up quickly, saying, I can do it anyway, regardless of their actual ability level. If you think you can't do it, you think you'll work harder. But if you try to do the opposite, you think it's useless. As a result, they often seem to be cramming to pretend to do something. However, it would not be enough, even if they were prepared for a month. 4. Self-handicapping. Imagine a student who deliberately decides to cram to comfort himself. He says that his grades are quite good for studying for a day or two. If you face the fact that you have failed even after working hard in advance, you will come to the conclusion that I am and I am not capable. If this happens, you will be hit directly by your self-esteem, and you will defend your self-esteem with an excuse. Now, you could not do anything because of the obstacle, not what you could not do if you put an obstacle in your own path. How important it is for me to evaluate I am trying to protect my self-esteem by ruining my path. Humans are truly sad animals. It is a common example to drink or smoke before an important task and say, I had an appointment, so I couldn't help it because of the alcohol. 5. Depression, low energy levels, helplessness, pessimism. Whatever you do, it's difficult to find pleasure, lack energy, and focus. Motivation is difficult, and there is not enough energy to hold on to it, making it difficult to start working, and even more difficult to complete even after starting. There is a question that says, I can't make good decisions and put off until the end. It also shows a great relationship with the negative emotions discussed above. 6. Low amiability, rebellious personality. This case is slightly different from the previous reasons. People who are rebellious and dislike bondage tend to feel unpleasant with externally set schedules and deadlines. Therefore, they refuse to set schedules and work at will. So when I pressed them to work upside down, as late as possible, there was an interesting discovery that they did it early, like a tree frog. 7. Inability to tolerate boredom. This is a story for people who live only in this moment without thinking much about the future, long-term results, or responsibilities. In many cases, they forget what they were doing because they weren't good at paying attention, but they couldn't finish urgent tasks. For these people, it is better to avoid environments with a lot of stimuli that can distract attention, such as smartphones. 8. The tendency to seek stimulation. Some people enjoy the thrill of being chased by procrastinating their work until the last minute or appear addicted. These people tend to be more productive than usual when they are nervous and close. But remember that thrills are short, but regrets can last long. A related study found that students who regularly crammed showed higher productivity in cramming. However, these students showed lower semester health status, grades, and life satisfaction. The benefits of procrastination are short and the cost is long, in the words of the researchers. In the process of planning work, setting goals. 9. Systematicity. Systematicity and monitoring whether things are going well until reaching the goal. There is a phenomenon of unintentionally procrastinating even if there are problems. Since I can't make a blueprint for what to do and when to do it right, I'll be able to do something that would take a month in an old-fashioned way. It is to cry and stop later. It's not a case of procrastination because the work process is not systematic. 10. Low desire to achieve. Fundamentally, it's a case where you don't want to work well and you don't feel the joy of work. Wanting to do a job too well is a problem, but not having a mind to do well can, of course, cause procrastination. How many of the above causes seem to be true? Knowing the cause will reveal a solution. To reduce procrastination and the causes of procrastination, first make a lot of fun things to increase your happiness and try to get rid of negative emotions, stress, anxiety, and depression. It's also good to let go of the pressure to do well. You can also avoid tempting environments. Also, be careful not to get carried away by the tension you feel when procrastinating. It is said that, even 300 years before Christ, articles were written emphasizing the wickedness of procrastinating what to do today until tomorrow. For us, who live with limited energy in the first place, it would be natural to put off work sometimes, even to conserve energy. Living day by day is a daunting task, so it's impossible to do everything on time. So don't blame yourself when you find yourself procrastinating again. This also has a reason, so let's try it. How about finding the reason and becoming a little more kind to yourself with the attitude of trying to alleviate your hardship?